Hey everyone, I am Josh. Sitting next to me, well, you're still Jack. Yeah. Yes. So, and across the table from us, we have one of the 2023 Barberton Community Foundation Game Changer Award winners, Mr. Brian Canale, and you may know him for another reason, but we will get into some of that right after this. You're listening to Magic City Neighbors on the Mic, where we talk to your Barberton neighbors about their stories, their insights, and what gets them laughing. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And now, to the show.
Barberton is known for many things, being the Magic City, being purple, the Mumfest. But if you talk to anyone outside of the city, inevitably, Barberton chicken is going to come up as a topic. And we couldn't have any in here today because Josh didn't want to get grease on the mic.
I'm kind of like that. So, Brian, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Congratulations on being the 2023 one of the Game Changer Award winners.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Elephant in the room, chicken in the room, whatever you want to talk. Let's talk food. So you're third generation restaurant owner, correct?
Third generation, started at Hopocan Gardens. My grandfather started it. The property has actually been in the family for about 7 generations.
Wow.
So it's quite it has been handed down, and it was a bar at one time. And there's still pictures of that bar at the restaurant. If you go in the lobby, you'll see there's a picture hanging up right by the hostess stand of what the restaurant used to look like when it was a bar, and it's been a restaurant. But yeah, we've been there a long time as a restaurant, almost 80 years.
Wow, that's some Barberton staying power. Yeah,
that's at least one of my lifetimes. I don't know.
That's 3 of your lifetimes,
I don't know
think.
the math on it. I just realized at least 18.
Right now,
that's 4 of your lifetimes.
I was about to say that's closer to 4, I think. Yeah, that's a carry the one. Yeah, we're there.
Something like that.
So, what inspired you to follow in those footsteps?
Well, I like the business. I started as a young man. I started at 12, younger than you are, Jack, and started washing dishes on Sundays, and I just enjoyed it. It's a fun business. People come in and they're happy to come in. They know they're going to get a good quality dinner. They're excited, and all we got to do is make sure they leave that way. And I thought that's fun. It's almost entertainment. It's just borderline entertainment. I enjoyed the business so much that I worked it all through college. I have my formal training is in accounting. I decided to stay in the family business, and I haven't looked back. It's just been a great experience, and it's lived up to everything that I thought it would be as far as, just take care of the customers. It's a pretty simple thing.
Yeah.
So you've been in this a few years then.
Yes, I'm 64. So yeah,
once again, carry the one.
Yeah.
We won't do that math on air.
I've been doing it a long time, and I've done everything in the restaurant. There's nothing that when I tell people you need to do this or that, I said, listen, I'm not going to make you do anything I haven't already done. More than once. I've waited on tables. I've done everything you can imagine in the restaurant, and it's been a wonderful experience. But it's fun every day. It's never the same. There's some of the experiences we still talk about them today as far as customer experiences. And I've got Mayor Judge's wife's father, his father-in-law used to come in every Friday, and Bert Smith was his name, and he would get a bucket of chicken and a draft beer because I would be working the counter. And I think for 10 years, he would come in every Friday and get a bucket of chicken and a draft beer, and we would talk because I would be working the counter. I was there all the time. I was a fixture, and so was he. And so was he. And there was a lot of those people that would come in every day, certain day of the week. They would get the same thing. I'd see them walk in the door. I'd put their order in. I'd pour them a beer, and we'd start to chat. And
makes a good relationship.
It makes a great relationship. Yeah. And again, it's lived up to every everything that you would like out of a job in the sense of communication with customers and friendly and fun, and it's just been a great experience.
That's awesome. It's that find something you love and you don't work a day in your life. There's days where I know it's work, but in the same sense, you kind of think, well, this does beat working for a living.
Well, people ask me, isn't the restaurant business hard? I go, if you want to make it hard, it is. They said, do you have to work a lot? I go, listen, I work 24 hours a day, or I'm off 24 hours a day, but both of them are half true. It doesn't matter. Just because we're closed doesn't mean I'm not working.
Right.
But it doesn't feel like work. So is there a lot of time? Yes. Does it feel like work? No.
Makes sense. So kind of part of what happened with the Game Changers Awards. So that is because of the Birdie Bag program, and you guys participate with that with the Ben Curtis Foundation. I know the turf was a big project that you took on also. With the Birdie Bag program, how did you kind of get involved with that? I mean, I know in the Game Changers Award video, you mentioned, and I love the line in the center of the video, you said, we asked, how did you get involved with the turf? And you're like, they asked. How did it happen? And we will put a link to that in the description here so you can go watch that. How did you get involved with the Birdie Bags?
Well, the school system brought the Ben Curtis Foundation in because they had a program to feed the kids on long weekends.
Okay.
When they weren't in school, and a lot of them don't get meals at home, they brought in the Curtis Foundation that had a program called the Birdie Bins, that they would make up meals that they could take home with them that were non-perishable, so they would have something to eat on the long weekends like President's Day or Labor Day, things like that. And they set up a meeting at the high school, Superintendent Ramnitz, and he brought in a bunch of business owners to see who could help out. And my feeling is, Jack, you probably don't know, it's feed people. It always feed people. No one should go hungry. And it doesn't matter if it's staff or students or anybody, we like to feed people. And so it fit what we do. And I couldn't give them food because it's non-perishable items. Right. But I do have a big truck, and they do need to rent a truck when they deliver the empty bins back to their office in Kent. So I offered to pick up the empty bins and take them back to their warehouse in Kent. And that's how we got involved in it. It was because they do what we love to do, and that's feed people.
It's funny you say that, because I mean you are steadfast in saying feed people. And I love that, because it is amazing. And there's so many people that are food insecure. On the flip side of that, there's a part of me that thinks this is kind of like the drug dealer saying, hey, try this chicken. Just one taste. That's all you need. Yeah. Right. And you get them sucked in.
Well, there's a little bit to that, but I don't know. I don't know. Empty bins don't suck too many people in for chicken dinner, but yes, there's a lot of times when we do feed teams. You know, we feed the football team on Friday nights, and they get spaghetti, which is not something that we're known for.
And those guys devoured it. Oh my God.
But we throw a chicken tender on there instead of a meatball.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get my shots in when I can.
and it's wonderful that you do that. To me, that's and I mean, the other thing is it's what you guys are known for. If they wanted, a meatball sub, they probably should go someplace else.
Probably should go somewhere else.
They want a good chicken tender, and they want a little bit of spaghetti and stuff like that to get powered up for the game. Well, then, you guys
are in the spot.
Yeah, starches. But then I want them to taste the chicken too, because the tenders are right up there. That's it.
Yes, they
are. Young people, that's they don't want
to eat around the bone.
No bones. That's work. That's work, and we know they don't want to work, right, Jack?
Right.
With that, so I mean, you've got a long history of giving back to the community. What is your motivation to do that? What motivates you in that?
Well, you kind of touched on a little bit, is to build the brand. You have to, even though we've been here for 80 years and Jack, you're correct. There's not a place I don't go that someone doesn't say, "Did you bring chicken?" I should put a fryer in the trunk of my car. I could probably sell just as much.
It with you. Yeah, no
I should just keep a bunch,
little umbrella,
little warmer in my
restaurant.
trunk, like the Domino's pizza car. And
there you go.
but that's part of it, building the brand.
Sure.
But it's just fun. It's just doing what I like to do, and feeding people is important. And I think if we can do it, a lot of times we don't give the food away. A lot of times we just sell it at what it costs. But even at that, it's a big savings for these organizations.
Oh, sure.
If they can buy a piece of chicken for 50 cents, they can feed a lot of people. And we do, and we try to do all of the fundraisers for the sports boosters. I think if they, I tell them all the time, if you have a function in Barberton, you need to have fried chicken. It's part of your heritage. It's part of who we are. And just like at the Game Changer, they've never had chicken at the Game Changer, and I offered and I supplied some tenders.
That's right. Yep.
Did you get any?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I made sure that in between taking pictures, I'm reaching for.
How were they?
They were amazing.
Most of the tender, I think all the tenders went. There was still a lot of everything else left.
Yes, there was this giant plate of cheese that by the end of the night was cheese bricks. They had the same consistency as clay, but shortly after
You've eaten clay before?
Yes, as a small child.
Play-Doh? You've never eaten Play-Doh?
Oh no, I have.
Okay.
I still do.
That explains why we're here. Probably is why we've survived as long as we have. But no, those things went they were gone. They were just gone.
So I might have a sale next year instead of a freebie this year.
Yeah. No, that's a good call. That's a good call. Well, that being said, I'm turning it over to Jack because Jack's got some better questions than I do.
Fantastic questions. Oh, what are some of the challenges and rewards that you feel from running 2 restaurants in Barberton?
Well, the challenge is just the day-to-day stuff that the rest of the world's feeling, and it doesn't have to do with the pandemic. We had labor issues before the pandemic, but after it just it really compounded during the pandemic when everyone was scared to leave the house, and the government did a good job of spooking everybody, and so the challenge, the big challenge was staffing, and then after the pandemic, the supply chain, because everybody felt the labor issue, and it was the truckers too, and truckers drive the country, and the product wasn't getting to the wholesalers, weren't getting product to get to us, so chasing product. So a lot of that stuff has changed. That's been the focus of. Is the back of the house operations to keep the stores open right now during the pandemic and as we come out of it. Before that, it was a little bit of those things, all a little bit each day. Yeah. Some of this, keeping the menu updated, how to get tenders were an outcome of getting a younger crowd.
Really?
Yeah. We realized.
How long have you had those for?
We've had those for about 10 years. So we tried to get ahead of the curve, in the sense that we could see that the bone-in portion of chicken was starting to fall off, and that people were going, with the first one was Chick-fil-A. They were the ones with the boneless, and they were really pushing that, and it was becoming very popular. And I thought, well, we have to have something along those lines, or we're going to lose all those customers.
Yeah.
So we put the tenders on about 10 years ago. And long before Raising Cane and long before all them other ones. For sure. So we put those on to try and combat some of that. And it was very slow. I mean, it was probably 20 pounds a week when we first started. Now it's up to about 500 pounds a week each store. Okay. Which in comparison is still the bone-in. There's still a lot of people that come to Barberton. When they come here, they want the bone-in. Tradition. And so that is still, it's still 3/4 of our business is still the bone-in.
Sure.
But the tenders gives us an inroad to a younger audience, and they're transitioning over the middle-aged people are transitioning over to the boneless and
Maturing.
they're maturing, and the bone-in is starting to
hey, this
wane
is
off.
easy.
This is easy.
This is a lot less work.
Yeah, no, they can use a knife and fork. They don't have to pick it up with their fingers.
I'm hands-on when I eat it. So I don't care if I make a mess. I'm not doing all that fancy work.
That's why we didn't have chicken in the studio.
Yeah, I know.
Those words right there, exactly.
Mics.
Yeah.
So it's so the reward is seeing them go away happy. I have a lot of fun with the customers. I at one time there was a point where when I was working the floors, working the dining rooms, seating people and stuff, it wasn't unusual that I would go over and pick a French fry off their plate, just ask them how their meal was and do you care if I try a piece? And I would grab a French fry off their plate.
Heck yeah.
And so it got to the point when I would come by, it got so frequent that they would go like this. They'd cover up their dinner. But those when you build that kind of relationship, because it's a relationship business.
Yeah.
It's part entertainment, part relationship. It's not all just feeding a need of eating.
Yeah.
I have fun when I go there. Everybody's friendly. The food is good. It's everything.
It really is, because there are certain places that I won't shop because I go in there and I'm like, this is terrible. It's cheap, but this is the feeling I get there is just awful.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Make people feel
and
good.
they come in that way. So all you got to do is make sure they leave that way. It's not a doctor's office or a lawyer's where they're only coming to see you.
Yeah.
They've got a problem and they're coming to see you and we need help. This isn't that kind of situation.
Yeah.
Hey, give me my chicken, make sure it's hot. And
then we're good.
And we're good.
That's
and poke a little fun at me or whatever and said, I'll be on my way.
I like it.
What are your hopes for the future of the Birdie Bag program and the Ben Curtis Family Foundation?
Well, I think they're taking care of that for us because they started out, we were their second. Barberton School Systems was only their second school system that they serviced with the Birdie Bin program.
Yeah.
The first was Kent, where he went to school. And the second one is Barberton, but I think they're up right now almost to six different school systems.
Wow.
Really?
So that's, again, feed.
It's a lot.
These
people.
These kids don't ask to be in these situations. They're a victim of their circumstances, and a lot of times they go hungry on the weekend. So if they can get something, any kind of nourishment,
type of food, yeah.
and they've got to the point now where I think the Birdie bags have they have a dentist that donates toothbrushes.
Oh, no kidding! That's
stuff.
awesome.
So they get they're getting some other things other than nourishment
that they need.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting some life help system
That's awesome.
support.
Great. Yeah.
So.
And what advice would you give to others who are interested in getting involved in the community?
Do it. It's just do it.
2 words.
I love it. I love it.
Do it.
fair.
Everybody should get involved. It's your community.
Yeah.
You can't sit back and complain that something's not right or this isn't the parks aren't cleaned up right or
If you're not doing
if you don't help. It doesn't matter. Time is, you don't have to have money. You can spend time. The Birdie Bin program for me is not have anything to do with money. I have the time and I have the truck, so let's do it. And my wife and I do it together. My wife Carol. That's just a time thing. That doesn't cost a little bit of gas a night, but the time is very rewarding. You're doing something good to help them out.
Yeah.
The stuff with the restaurants, it doesn't. As far as feeding the groups, it's nothing. I'm basically giving it more often than not. They're paying for it, but they're just paying the cost of the production. That's all.
Yeah.
So you need to get involved. If you don't get involved, it's like voting. If you don't vote, you have no say in the election. If you don't help your community, then you can't very well sit back and complain that it's not the way you'd like it to be.
Make a change.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nice. Well, now I think we're into the lightning round now. Lightning round time. So with this, We're going to ask you some quick pointer questions that we need 1-sentence answers for. So stick with 1 sentence. I mean, we kind of we alluded to this one earlier, and you knew the answer right off the bat. We know what your favorite food is. What is your second favorite food?
Pizza.
That's
Absolutely. I would love
Good
that.
choice.
If I wasn't so old, I'd have a chicken pizza shop.
Third one coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon. Look for that. You heard it here. No, you didn't.
What is your favorite thing about living in Barberton besides the chicken?
Athletics. The athletics in town are just phenomenal. And it doesn't, and it's the girls, it's the boys, it's all of them. It's the soccer, not just football. The baseball teams, the softball teams, there to go to see the basketball games, which should be exciting. Got a new coach this year. The athletics to think about that you can go see usually one of the best area teams in football for $5 on a Friday night.
Makes sense.
It's unbelievable. You get season ticket to the basketball game, and for $25 or whatever it is, and see 10, 15 home games. The Reynolds Classic, you can buy a $12 ticket and see 4 games in one day if you're a basketball junkie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The offering for the athletics, the facilities that we have, you can't go wrong. It's a great place.
No, and the city's, I mean, the community, I don't want to say the city, the community supports it so well too.
Yes.
And that makes it awesome.
We travel very well too, not just home games.
Yeah.
You go, everybody likes.
There's a presence.
There's a presence. Absolutely.
You will see purple in any stand where there's Barberton playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what role for you?
That wasn't 1 sentence. Sorry.
It's okay. Well,
It was close.
It was close. It was a run on.
Yeah.
That's how I used to
We just
type
put a
as
bunch
kid.
of commas in there. We're good.
What role does food play in bringing people together and creating that sense of community?
Well, there's nothing better than a good meal with family and friends.
Sure. I mean, I love that.
fair.
That makes perfect sense.
And what advice would you give to your younger self? It's like the biggest piece of advice you could think of to tell your younger
The
self.
1 sentence.
The 1 sentence that I would tell myself:
Might take some thinking.
get involved earlier. I don't spend
Nice.
so much time in the store. Get involved in the community earlier in life.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, now this leads us to our every person questions that dive into Barberton as a whole. What is your favorite Barberton folklore / tall tale or rumor?
Well, mine is close to the vest. I mean, it's close to experience. And everyone says that when we bought the White House in October of 1990, that it was haunted. And there's been a couple situations where we've had, I have a gentleman that works early in the morning. He comes in and gets the inventory together, and he gets there about 6 o'clock, and there's nobody there, and he locks the doors behind him.
Sure.
And his name is Butch. And he is working upstairs one morning, he told me, and he heard someone yell up the steps. Our office is upstairs at the White House. And he said he heard someone yell his name, Butch, twice. And he thought, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. There's nobody here.
No.
So he said, I went downstairs. I checked every door to make sure there was nobody in the building, make sure everything was locked up right. And everything was locked behind me. So nobody was in the building. I went back upstairs and I heard someone yell up the steps again, Butch. So
at which point did he leave?
He
the building
left.
quickly.
He
Yeah, I
left.
was gonna
He
say,
did. He actually left and went to Hopocan.
I would have gone straight out the door.
He went-
after
I was about to
first.
say.
He left. He said, I'll come back in an hour.
I would have gone home, changed my pants, and then
So he left. So the lady that started White House, Mary Milinkovich, lived in, that was her,
Sure.
It was a bar.
Yeah.
She lived upstairs when it was a bar. She turned it into White House Chicken. She also waitressed or cooked at Belgrade's.
Okay.
And she turned it into a chicken house. And she actually, unfortunately, passed away in that house.
Okay.
In the restaurant. And
Wow.
so they And he's not the only person that has told me they've heard people walking around when they're in there by themselves. They've heard people talking.
Souls of the chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. No thanks. No thanks.
So yeah, that's my story.
I'll just get to go then in mid-afternoon
There you go.
when it's
As
light
soon
out.
as it's still bright out. Yeah.
Yeah, don't go at nighttime.
What do you see as the future for Barberton, and where do you think we're headed, and like what are some bright spots?
Well, I think we're heading in the right direction. We have a stable leadership in the mayor's office. It looks like he's going to win his reelection. We've got some programs going on with the downtown area.
Yep.
You know, there's no reason why we couldn't be a Maslin or Medina. We have the same creation or the same DNA.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason we can't bring that back. I think it's the chicken dinners are going to be here. Those restaurants are going to be here long after I'm done working them. So we're going to have that heritage. We still have the industrial base. People look at us and know that we had a strong presence in the industry and manufacturing, and I think that's starting to come back, even though it's a little on the outside of the city, but it's starting to come back.
It is. There's signs of life.
There's signs of life, and so I think we're heading in the right direction as long as we can stay on that path and not jump around and get new leadership and someone wants to change this or we just need consistent. You have to be consistent. It's the same in the restaurant business. Someone said, you know what, be consistently good or consistently bad. You'll have customers.
Yeah.
Somebody will like it bad, and if you change it to good, they're not going to come in.
You might find not them, but you'll find somebody else.
But if you don't show up every day, you're just not going to make progress.
You're not going to make progress, so stay consistent.
Perfect.
Keep chugging along. It's a great city.
It's a great way to end it.
It is, and we will keep chugging along also. Do us a favor, make sure that you share this with your Magic City neighbors, and we have some more interesting guests coming up soon. Make sure you watch our social media. I was going to say Facebook, but make sure you watch all the social medias because we will be posting them soon. Keep an eye out. We will see you guys soon.
Thank you.